Good morning. Welcome back to the JagCorner, and if this is your first time, I am Will Thorup. I am your host. Today, we're going to do some programming. We're jumping back to an old demo. It was really a learning project that I did for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo back in 2014, which was, 7-8 years ago now? Coming up on 8 years in October anyways, and I thought, since we're pretty much finished with the 240p test suite, that I would spend some time with this, and I realized I actually did spend some time with this back in 2018 when something came out. I don't know if it was an SD card reader. I don't know if it was the JagGD or another project. We're going to take a look at it because I changed the scroller text for the scroller in this demo to reflect wherever it was going to be used. I honestly don't remember. I remember very vaguely having some email conversations with somebody. I don't know if it was Saint, the user who worked on JagGD, or if it was there was one other person, and I can't remember that. They were saying they were working on a different solution, a cheaper solution for reading SD cards on the Jag, and so it seemed like that person asked me to go and asked if it was all right if they put the demo on the card by default, or on the SD card that they were going to sell with it or something. Anyways, we'll take a look at that. You can tell that I'm almost completely recovered. My voice is still a little bit groggy, and I have just a little bit of sinus stuff. I just had a coughing fit right before we started, so hopefully that won't happen again. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better and my cough won't be too distracting during the stream today. Just a few news items here up front. Let me jump over to that really quick, and of course it's not showing the browser. Let me see if I can get that fixed. I thought it was showing up earlier, but I probably just missed it. Maybe if I do that, it's showing the cursor, but it is not showing the browser. Give me just a second on this. We got a few things to talk about. Got a product to show off, and yeah, a few products actually that have come out recently that are worth taking a look at. Give me just a second. Why aren't you showing up? Let's try that. Yeah, that just doesn't want to show up. We may be skipping that here this morning. Let me try adding another window capture source, see if that helps. Could just be giving me a little bit of may just be a little bit stubborn this morning. Nope, it is not working. Is the browser tab? Oh, there it is. I had to adjust the size of it a little bit, and then it started working in OBS. At least it started working there. Why isn't it working here still? Let me go try adjusting it again. Yeah, there it is. Never ran into that before. Okay, I got it working though. So let's jump over back to that. Oh, you guys were probably watching the whole time. That's okay. First off, if you haven't already, it takes some time to sign up for the Jaguar newsletter, which is just an email newsletter. I'm trying to build that email list for future releases and for exclusive content for people who are signed up on that emailing list. So take some time to look at that. If you're interested in learning more about the projects that we're working on, other video content, we stream. So we do, for those who are new to this, seeing this for the first time, we stream programming twice a week, and then every other week, and then on the following week we do games. And so one week we'll do games, one week we'll do programming. I'm planning on mixing that up a little bit. I know some people suggested, good morning, Dwayne. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Some people suggested in my last video, last week we streamed Gravitic Mines, which is showing up on people's porches, and people are starting to enjoy that now. They suggested that I that I promote the stream a little bit more. I haven't been pushing it too hard like on the Atari Age forums. I've just been sticking to the staples of social media, which are Twitter and Facebook. That's where I've been advertising the most. What I need to do is just start a thread on Atari Age that I update, and I don't think I'll update every time. I'll probably only update like once a month, just to remind people, hey, the stream is going on, don't miss out, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'll probably be doing a few things different in terms of promotion here soon. But they also suggested, and this is why I brought this up, is maybe getting some people on to do some interviews. And that was one of the first things I wanted to talk about this morning in regards to the news. There was a live stream on Saturday by Zero Page Homebrew. And if you don't know anything about them, and honestly, I don't watch them regularly. I watch these big unboxing streams that they do with I think it was just Atari Age. It's a promoted stream that Atari Age they partner with Zero Page Homebrew to do, where they unbox all their recent releases in the last 6 months or the last year or so. Anyways, their stream. Let me see if I can bump the quality up here just a little bit on this. They went over a lot of really, really nice looking homebrew for the 2600 specifically. And their focus is mainly on that because that's where most of the games are being made for Atari consoles, is on the Atari 2600. And there's some pretty awesome unboxing and interviews with developers and with artists. And some really cool games for the 2600. It makes me wish that my 2600 was here and buy a few of these games. There's some really fun looking games, and what I really enjoy about the 2600 is because of the hardware limitations of the console. It's really easy for young people to pick it up. People around age 4 or 5 to 10 years old. It's really easy for them to pick up these games and understand them. I like to think of it, and I know some people will scoff at this, but I kind of like to think of it as casual gaming before casual gaming. Because of those limitations on the Atari 2600, those games had to be as, and I hate using these words, as streamlined and as optimized as possible in terms of not only code and the technical side of it, but also the gameplay side of it. And a lot of, I know my nieces and nephews, they enjoy games like this, very arcade oriented games. And they enjoy other games that are a little more involved, like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Zelda games and those types of games. But when it comes to casual gaming, though, the Atari 2600 is definitely fills that niche that's I think very important for people who play games. Just something that they can pick up and play and not have to worry about coming back to later if they don't want to. So anyways, really good stream. Very entertaining, very good interviews. I highly suggest you take the time to watch this. It is long. It's almost 7.5 hours. And so definitely worth the time, though. They do show off. This is another reason why I wanted to bring this up. They do show off a couple games I was involved with. The Dr. Typo collection, I worked on the box, and let's see here. Let's see if they have a good shot of the box. See if it'll load. Oh, there's kind of a good shot. Yeah, right there. The box, the manual, the label, and I also worked on the graphics for the main menu here. And it's something I learned, and maybe I was working with Lawrence, one of the reboot guys, to put this together for Albert at Atari Age to sell. Apparently there's 2 extra games in it, and so it has Dr. Typo's done a lot of the way they put it at Zero Page is a lot of homebrew or mini games for the Jag. And some of them are definitely that. One of them I don't think falls into the mini game. It's Fallen Angels. I think that's a lot more fleshed out. Doesn't quite fall into the mini game category. It's a little more involved. But there's 2 other games, hidden games on it, and I think Lawrence told me about this, but I honestly couldn't remember, and so I was a little bit surprised that I believe Lawrence was on the stream while they were showing this, and they talked about that that there's 2 hidden games. They didn't show them. My guess is that they're probably just controller codes at the beginning of when you first boot it up. I need to go dig through my emails and relearn it. Anyways, we'll be coming back to Dr. Typo in probably a few weeks. We'll come back and look at this. I have a physical copy coming, and it'll be nice to play some of those games again. The other game that they covered was Gravitic Minds, which is, like I said before, is showing up at people's doors, and so it's cool to see the physical merchandise surrounding the game. I was involved pretty much with all the physical stuff. Albert and Lawrence obviously gave feedback on this and the Dr. Typo collection. I'm really grateful for their help on that. I think I haven't gotten it in my hands yet. It should be showing up any day now. But the physical stuff looks fantastic. Like the hat here. See if that'll show up. Oh no, it's not. There's the hat. It's an embroidered hat. It looks really good. I think we chose to do a really deep royal blue on that, if I remember right. There's the soundtrack. Anyways, I'm not going to go through all of it. There's some really cool stuff. I'm excited to see the patch, and specifically, this is the first patch I've ever done. They said it looked great, so I'm excited to formulate my own opinion on that one when I get it. So, but yeah, Gravitic Minds. You can obviously purchase a copy of that right now. It's gonna take a little while to get your hands on a copy. Albert is heading out on vacation here for basically a whole month, so you won't see it in probably until mid-July. I think that's what he told me, anyways. By the way, Albert does have an interview. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, he has an interview here at Zero Page Homebrew. This is actually the first time I've heard Albert's voice, and so it was awesome that they had him on for an interview. I think they've done it before, but this is the first time I've taken the opportunity to go and listen to him. So, anyways, yeah, really good stream. Check that out. A product I wanted to talk about, and I'm not sponsored here. I just thought this was really cool that this popped up. So Humble Bazooka, the same people that did the Jaguar Bluetooth adapter. Let me see if I can get that to show up. Yeah, really nice 3D printed shell. I don't know if I've demoed this on stream yet. I've had some issues with my desktop syncing with it, and I think it's my desktop's fault because my laptop works just fine. And so, yeah, that's a really good device. Definitely worth it if you want to use a modern controller. It works great. There doesn't seem to be any latency that I've noticed. I'd need to play a game like Ultra Vortec to really find out. And I think I did try, and it seemed like it was spot on. Like I was able to pull off combos and stuff like that without any trouble. Anyways, really great device, but there's a more mundane device here, which I did pull up, called the Jag EXT, or Jag extension. And this is definitely a little more boring than the Jaguar Bluetooth adapter. Let me show it here really quick. Yeah, the Jag EXT. All it is it's an extender for the edge connectors on the back of the Jag console, and the reason why Humble Bazooka put this together was he was constantly swapping cables out, and so I thought that was genius because I've been doing that recently with playtesting, and I'll be doing more playtesting in the future with my games and possibly other people's games, and so this is really good if you want to save those edge connectors on the back of the Jag. Something I noticed just this morning. I've used it on and off, obviously for the playtesting, and But this morning I was swapping my cable out because I was running S-Video on my CRT. I needed to switch it over to my OSSC, my line doubler. And I noticed how smoothly it comes on and off the edge connector. It's really, it's a lot smoother than the actual edge connector on the Jag. So it's nice. It's possible that if you had a really long cable or if it was draped really far down, that the weight might pull it off because of how smooth, how loose it is. And see, I'm using the word smooth. I should use the word smooth rather than loose because I don't think it's loose. It just goes on smooth as butter, as they say. Anyways, if you're interested in that, if you are swapping your cables out for whatever reason, or if you just want to preserve that edge connector on the Jag, this is a great option. It's only $15. Let me show it again here really quick, and we'll jump back over to the page. Really, again, really nice 3D printed shell too. So, yeah, whatever they're using for the 3D printing, it almost feels like a molded plastic product, which is awesome. But yeah, really cool device. Here's some better pictures of it. That's it on the Jag. It only comes out, the plastic part only comes out about a ½ inch, and then the edge connector about another ½ inch, a little less than a ½ inch. So it doesn't pop out too much further from the Jag. Especially if you just have it sitting on a shelf, it shouldn't be any issue, that extra length on it. Anyways, really cool. I don't want to say device. It's more of an accessory, or yeah, it's just a hardware accessory. It just extends those pins so they're a little bit further out and you're not using the original edge connector. Anyways, really cool. I don't think I need to look at Twitter there because I was on Twitter just to look at this. This is the, here, I'm going to drop the brightness on that a little bit. So they've been doing the Atari Lynx. Matt Smith, good morning. It's good to see you. They've been doing the Lynx competitions for the last few years, and Atari Gamer has been putting some of the entries. I don't believe it's all of them. Just some of the entries for those competitions on carts as compilations. So, for example, let me see if I can get over here. The Christmas competition that happened a couple of years ago has quite a few games there. I think I've talked about that one a little bit, but the one I wanted to highlight was this one, which was the again, I believe it was a Christmas jam technically, but they did scary games instead. And I need to figure out a solution for showing these Lynx games. It seems like I did one stream a while ago where I was trying to show them, but some of the games weren't showing up for whatever reason in the emulators. And so what I want to do is I have a McWill screen mod in one of my Lynxes, and I still have the hardware for the VGA mod, and I need to drop the VGA mod in there so I can actually stream. I should be able to stream without a problem with that, and so in that way I can guarantee that the games are going to load. It seems like Lynx emulation hasn't gotten a whole lot of love in a long time. There's several emulators, but they all seem to have their gotchas, and so in my mind it's just like I just need to run this on actual hardware, just so I don't have to worry about emulation. So yeah, I think that's it. I think there was a reason why I had the Twitter ready here. So I wanted to show the box art. And they're doing these cool little boxes. Let me see if I can find a picture of that here really quick. There's another picture of the artwork. Looks great. I love that artwork. I don't know if they had that commissioned or if somebody just took a photo and ran some filters over it. Added the links in. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, here we go. So the boxes are these, why can't I make those bigger? Surely they're larger than that. Well, wish they could be a little bit bigger, but, excuse me. but they're kind of like these diorama things. And so he's 3D printed this little stand for the cart that he just slides the cart in. I assume. I haven't gotten one of these myself. I'm thinking about purchasing this one because there were some really fun games in the last competition. Very clever ideas. Anyways, it's kind of like a diorama with the artwork in the background in a plastic box. It's really neat looking package, and it's done in a way that it keeps the price down too. I believe it's only $15 for the cart. Excuse me. Still dealing with a little bit of a cough, so bear with me. Yeah, so let's take a look here. So with box, it's about $23 USD plus whatever shipping is. I'm guessing, I believe this is coming from Australia if I remember right, and so it's probably going to end up being like $10, maybe a little bit more. Don't quote me on that. Go check it out for yourself if you want to figure out how much shipping is to your location specifically. So all right, now that we've talked about news for 30 minutes, let's get to programming. And honestly, I don't know how far we're going to get because I did, if you're just coming on stream, I did take, oh yeah, of course Kate isn't showing up. Give me a second. Get this working. It was working before we started. Something has obviously changed. Not you. Where are you? There you are. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I took a look at this project back in 2018 because, and let's go check this out really quick. There's a scroller here. Gotta figure out where the text is. It's probably here. So part of the stream might be a little bit boring because I'm going to be reintroducing myself to this code. But I'm hoping it might be at least a bit funny. Okay, here's the scroller. It looks like I did pretty much the whole demo in one source file, at least the sequence for the demo, and then I have some outside things that we'll take a look at here. Thanks to NeoRG for including our demo on his. Oh, okay. So yeah, he was working. I think NeoRG was working on an alternative SD card reader, alternative to the Jag GD. I don't know how far he got with it. I haven't followed up with him, so we'll probably be changing this again for this update. Yeah. So, but this was originally for Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2014. And I did the update in 2018. So yeah, we'll definitely go through and change that scroller here later on. And the reason why I don't have it running already is this doesn't actually build right now because the make files aren't set up for my current iteration of my development environment. So that'll be one of the first things that we change here. So let's just run a make command and find out what's going on. So it can't find the cross compiler, the M68K AOut. It's just the cross compiler, GCC cross compiler for the Motorola 68000 and C code. And so we just need to go change that, which is under config, make file config. There's going to be a few things here that won't be set up correctly. So yeah, right here. And I believe it's just M68K Atari Mint GCC. So all I need to do is copy this and replace it here. So there's that. This lib command, I think we're going to have to change as well. Let's see here. Lib is being referenced there. And then there's this include directory as well. And so we'll have to take a look at that. I don't think we need this, or this. This is fine. This is fine because the names are, we are using RMAC and RLN, but I think for legacy purposes, I decided to, in my setup script for the removers library dev environment that I have it actually change these names to work with legacy make files. So I think we're fine there. It may build now. JagDef-H. Okay, so this is actually this. So this isn't working correctly. And I'm just going to go remind myself here really quick where that is in my environment. So I just have a folder in my home folder called Jaguar, and in that is a lib folder, and then there's include and then lib. And I think JagDef is in one of those. I'm not seeing it. I'm pretty sure I just need to point it to one of those because one of the source files in there then points, oh no, there it is, jagdefs.h. So yeah, I need to point to the include folder in the lib folder in my Jaguar folder. So, and we're already pointing to the Jaguar folder, I believe, with this. Oh, no. Let me think about this really quick. Guest. Yeah, this is all wrong. None of this is going to work. This just needs to be JagPath. JagPath. Oh, no. In fact, I don't even need this cross path anymore, I'm pretty sure. I just need to switch this over to JagPath, which if we look at our system environment variables by typing in env in a terminal, it'll just show you all your environment variables that are set up. And you'll see down here, I have one set up for my Jaguar folder, which is just in my home folder on my system. So, so we just put JagPath there and here, and we can get rid of, I don't know if this lib, oh no, that is what's being used. See, this is the folder that we need to point to for lib, which makes me believe that this include variable here in our make file is useless. Let's do a search really quick just to see if it's being used anywhere else. I don't think. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, it's only being used here, and so we can get rid of that. We don't need that either. Yeah, let's see if that builds. Oh, it still can't find it. Why can't it find it? No such file or directory. I know we're pointing to, oh, lib/include. There we go. That should work. Sometimes there's a depend file that we have to get rid of. Run it again, see what it does. Why is it not finding that header file? It is definitely there. I'm looking at it right now. Jaguar lib include. Let's do this. I am going to hard code this. Oh, I think I may need to go look at a make file for okay, so that's the actual path. Yeah, and it's not working. There's something I'm missing here. Let me go open up the make file for the 240p test suite. Where are you? There it is. Make file config and see what I'm doing there. See, I really could just copy this. Ah, yeah. Yep, I was missing. Oh, no. There's the lib. Oh, I am pointing to the wrong. I may need both of those. Yeah, there's the C flags down here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy this whole thing. In fact, I'm going to copy all of this because we'll need this ROM file thing later on as well. And just paste this in, and this will probably fix it. Yeah, so we did need that include down here at our C flags, which these make files are older. In fact, we're going to copy over a few more things. Okay, so that's building now. There are a few commands I want to pull over really quick from my newer make files. So I'm just going to open both of those up and just make sure we have everything pulled over. There were a few commands here. The skunk command, I think, is not in these older ones. So let's go take a look at that. Makefile example. Oh, it is there. Okay, cool. It's the same thing. And it seemed like, yeah, Virtual Jaguar was the other one. We probably won't be using the emulator much for these for this specific demo because we are doing music playback, and Virtual Jaguar has a really hard time playing back audio accurately, and so we'll be relying on real hardware for this. And the demo's pretty small, and so it loads onto my skunk board pretty quick. So okay, I think that's all we need. It was just those two commands I wanted to make sure that we had. There's probably a few more differences still. For example, I think, yeah, the GPU driver, which we'll probably have to add that because the LZ77 decompression routines, which I'm probably not even using in this demo, now that I think about it. And so that may be another update that we'll do. We'll go through, pack all of our graphics, and get that unpacking in the program to make the ROM. We might be able to get it under 1 megabyte, which would be awesome. I think it's, well, let's go take a look. See if I can find it here again. Where are you? There you are. Source. It is currently, oh, it's already under 1 megabyte. So we won't need to worry about that at all. We're not going to be adding any graphics or building new graphics, I don't think. Again, we're going to be going through this step by step. So let's take a look really quick at the actual demo. So let me run a clear, make clean, make, actually, I need one more. So make reset. This resets the skunk. Oh, that's another one we probably don't have. Make reset, yeah, right here. Oh, no. Looks like I do have that. I should have double checked that before wasting time. Okay, clear, and then we're gonna sleep for 2.5 seconds. 2.75. It seems like, depending on what USB port I have my skunk plugged into, sometimes it's a little bit slower on the reset. So, yeah, let's just do 3 seconds. I know that will work just fine. Make let's do our make clean here, and then no, we can do it after because we're waiting for 3 seconds. Okay, make clean and then make JCP. That will push it over to the skunk, or make skunk. Yes, that's correct. Pretty sure. Make skunk, yeah, right there. Okay, let's push that over. Jaguar large. Why didn't you switch? I don't know why that didn't switch over. My switcher isn't working for some reason. Okay, that's probably a little loud for you guys. Let me turn that down. So first thing that I notice here that I want to change is the rainbow in the background. So the first version of this demo didn't even have the rainbow because I couldn't get the scrolling fast enough. It was slowing down too much. We know how to do that now because of the 240p test suite. So that'll be one of the first things that we change. Also, that transition is technically a bug. I could never figure out how to actually get it to paint the squares down the way that I wanted to. It looks kind of cool. It is a kind of a happy mistake, but I think what we're going to do on this update is we're going to update it so it paints the blocks rather than doing that kind of a sawtooth stair-stepping thing. So, anyways, the scroller goes on for a bit, so enjoy the show. Bryce did the scroller on this. He did the code for this, and so we're probably going to have to spend a little bit of time learning that just to make sure that the code is solid. Because he was, so at this time, we were both fairly new at C code in general. We had never worked with it before. Bryce may have worked with it a little bit with Arduinos before this, but he was fairly new. I was very, very new to programming in general. And so we're going to have to go through and check pretty much everything. Go over it with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that the code is solid. Now, in terms of stability of this demo, I'm pretty sure it's stable. Like, it won't crash, at least not for a long, long time. But that doesn't mean that there aren't problems with the code. And we'll take a look at the terminal here, see if there's any warnings coming up, and we'll get those cleared out. Yeah, we'll just kind of be going through things in sequence here and just cleaning it up. So maybe we'll update the scroller too to make this a little more unique. It'd be cool to make the scroller 8-bit and do a color shift and have it change colors. That might be cool. Yeah, so there's the transition. This is a showcase, a credit card. Greg Tooby did the music, and the music is it's an old mod song from modarchive.com, but I did get permission to use it in this demo directly from Greg. It was a little hard tracking him down, if I remember right, and getting permission for that. Bryce did some code, obviously. I did some code, and I also did the artwork for this demo. And like the artwork you see there on the side is just some personal artwork I did years ago. Thought it fit very well with this kind of grayscale theme. So, and then the last screen is just Flappy coming across. This was a promo for Flappy McFur before we released that. So that QR code probably goes to a broken website. Maybe we'll update the QR code to go to the new page for that as well. And then it just loops. And I think it does a weird flash because I am resetting things, and so we'll go fix that so that flash isn't there anymore. But yeah, it seemed like there was a bug with the so that on the arcade machine here with that animation on the screen, it seemed like there was a bug that made it glitch out every once in a while. It seems stable though, so maybe I fixed that back in 2018. Anyways, I'm going to let that run in the background. I'm just going to turn the audio off for that. In fact, let me just do this. I'm going to turn it up and mute it. There we go. Okay. And for some reason, that's why it's not working. I had studio mode enabled. There we go. My switcher is working again. So what do we want to do first? That is the question. Let's see if we can get the rest of that rainbow in. Let me come over here. Let me pull this up for you guys really quick. Just my dolphin. There we go. And there, see what comes up. Okay, I need to just readjust it for you guys. There we go. So, come on, come down. We're in the graphics folder for the project here. Oh, whoops, I just lost it. 1 second. I collapsed the wrong one. Navigate back to it here. Let me turn the audio down on this. As much as I love the song for this demo, I have heard it about 4,000 times now, and so it's not quite as enjoyable as the first time. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Let me pull it up again. There it is. Okay. And so on the intro, there are some graphics here. Oh yeah, there's the arcade screen. Oh, and I did, this was probably the first time I wrote my own animation code for animating sprites as well. Actually, no. This isn't. because I do have separate maps. So in the removers library, he has some nice macros for handling sprite animations, but you don't, it's a little inconvenient because you have to do separate frames rather than a sprite, like a sprite map, a single image with all the frames. And so I had to write my own code, and it's not difficult. It's to write a little bit of code to animate sprites manually, but there is a built-in way of animating sprites, which is useful. And one of these days, I want to do kind of an intro tutorial to the removers library where we build a game, and so I'll get into that whenever I get to that. Okay, so let's see here. I have 4 sprites, it looks like. How big are these? Oh wow, they're pretty big. That one's 224 pixels. 224, they're all 224 pixels wide, which is fine. Yeah. And so right now, as you see in the demo, the rainbow only comes up on the right side there. What I'm curious is if we even have enough width on this demo, because we only scroll so far. So this is this is really long. It's 224 times 4, 224 times 4, which is 896 pixels. That's how far we're scrolling. Let's see. Let me get rid of Dolphin. Let's take a look and see how far we are going. I'm sure I just have a variable that's tracking that. We just got to find it. Transition in, out. Global delay compared with the speed of the delay. How fast do we want the transition to be? Looks like I have a transition speed of some sort. I'm probably just running, I'm just running a switch case statement, a state machine essentially. There's the cat head. Oh, I don't see any variable where I'm tracking the scroller. I have to be tracking it somehow. Cat head, grid, these are all sprites, title sprites. And yes, nothing is packed in this demo, and so we may spend some time today actually packing and unpacking sprites, which might be a little bit boring. Maybe I'll avoid that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. We're attaching everything. Oh, this is just checks for attaching sprites to the screen, which we could probably change how this works. We don't need to attach and detach until the end of the state. In fact, I've noticed there's some jitteriness, and that's probably what's causing that jitteriness as it's scrolling, is we're attaching and detaching. That's a little more processor or display intensive, at least. And I don't know why I didn't indent all this. We might get rid of all these indents here too. Run our transition out. Where am I? Delay. There it is. Main pan position. This is the parent variable that controls the pan of all elements in the intro card. Excuse me. Whew. Okay. So there is a main pan position. I just need to find where that's being checked with an if statement somewhere. There it is. If main pan position is greater than 0, then move it. And so I am setting it somewhere for our first. So 1280 pixels. So we are going far enough for the whole rainbow. So we can add that whole thing in, which is nice. And I wish I was watching there just a few seconds ago, so I could get a better sense of where we need to stack all those sprites. So I am loading in 2 of the rainbow sprites, Rainbow 1 and Rainbow 2. I am not loading in the rest of them yet. So we need to change this. So right now we are scrolling sprites as they are. And I kind of want to convert the whole screen, so we're, instead of scrolling the sprites themselves, we're just attaching the sprites to different display layers and moving the display layers. That's how I would like to do this, because I know that runs really fast when we do that. So we're going to have to be, we're going to need to rebuild most of this. So let me do something here really quick. I'm going to clean up our indents. I was using a different application or something, different settings before. So clean indentation, get rid of all that. And thank goodness I was indenting here. Movement control of main element. Okay, this is where the actual scrolling is happening. And I'm doing it according to a single position there. And then I am moving some of these relative to other sprites. And so that's going to be a little bit tricky there, getting that working correctly. Let's define some things. We have this whole list of sprites that we're moving, right? Oh, and I have a thing for the rainbow too. Rainbow delay equals 0. Oh yeah, this is the parallax for the rainbow in the background. BitJag grid X. Which sprite is that? The other thing we need to check, okay, I am defining these sprites somewhere else. Is it just in here? Nope, it's not in there. Screen tools. Huh. I'm not sure where I'm defining those. Let's do a search here really quick. Sprite right there. Okay, I am defining them up here before I use them. That's fine, we can do that. That's perfectly appropriate. I usually want to do this. We may move this into, in fact, maybe I'll do that right now, because that's going to be really quick. We can move this all into the header file. Which will save us a few lines in the actual code, because we spend a lot less time. Does this not have a header file? BJ scroll, BJ demo. Yeah, there's no header file. This is definitely a less experienced person working on this. So let me check. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, why wouldn't I have a header file? That's a little bizarre. I mean, you technically don't need it because you can do the declarations in the C file, but it's feels cleaner to, yeah, I don't have a header file. Wow. Okay, so let's, I'm just going to copy one of the header files from something else. I know you guys can't see this right now. Just bear with me. I'm just copying a file in my file manager, so nothing too exciting. Okay, there's our new header file. So we're going to get rid of all this. Add those declarations in. I'm actually going to get rid of our line breaks here. Don't need those. I guess back in the past, I'm like, oh, it's more readable to add a line break between every line. It does feel a little more thoughtful, but I don't think it necessarily makes it more readable. Clear those up really quick. Scroller sprites. Oh yeah, so we don't have too many sprites going on. That's nice, because it's going to make things a little bit easier to track here and to relearn. Because I've been away from this code since, well, 4 years ago, 2018. Man, time flies. Well, if there's anybody else lurking in the chat, shout out. Hope everybody's looking forward to their day if they're here in the States. If you're on the other side of the planet, I hope you're looking forward to your evening or already enjoying your evening if you're in Australia or New Zealand or Japan or Taiwan. I don't think I've had anybody from there watching, at least not too often. Okay, we got to change some things here. I don't think we're going to need this. We will need... I'm just going to copy all this in just so we have it. And we're going to change this to BJ demo. These header defines. Oh, I added a copyright to this. Maybe I had the source available for this. I need to go check on oh whoops, I added that to the wrong place, didn't I? That's okay. It's not gonna. Oh, actually it's not okay. Because I want to make sure I didn't change something I shouldn't have changed. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. Okay, so I think I did right here. Yep. I didn't want to change those. That can be the same. BJ demo. This is where we wanted to change it. Demo. Those header header names. This is just useful for headers to make sure that you don't double up on function names. I've ran into that problem where I've redefined functions in different parts of the program, and it actually causes it can cause issues for building your program and for program stability. Because when you think you're using a function that's very similar to another one, they happen to share the same name, and maybe even the same parameters, you'll be using that function, but it won't be. It'll be using the version of the function that you aren't expecting, and so a good rule is make sure you always have unique function names across your program. I just do that, even if header files aren't going to be shared between two different source files. I just do that just to make sure I don't run into that problem again. And make sure that these I don't know what these are called in header files. Just make sure that these are unique as well, because if these are unique, what it will do is just check to make sure if you do have duplicate function names, it won't allow you to do that. I'm pretty sure that's what this will do. So at least that's a byproduct, I think. That could be very naive of me to say that, but it seems like I've run into that before, and this helps out to avoid that situation. Okay, we have our header file. We do need to add it to the top of our C file here. I'm just going to put it right at the top. Include, and this is BJ demo _1.h, like that. Okay, so got that done. Something I wanted to check here really quick is if we have any warnings up at the top. Maybe well, I don't know if we have quite a few warnings. So sending the wrong types, probably need to cast some stuff, have a lot of unused variables we can get rid of. Implicit declarations, so I'm not properly referencing some header files somewhere, which none of this is game breaking. This is weird. Oh, I don't have a source file in my header file there, so yeah, so there's nothing really serious here. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I need some end ifs here. We may need to go add that as well. That is interesting, actually. Let's go check that out. So right here, we're missing some end ifs. in our assembler file for our assembler macros. So right here, I think you need an end if at the end, if I remember correctly. Let's see if that fixes it. So dot end if. I think that's all we need. Where can I check that? Let me open up another project's graphics data and see what that's doing. No, I'm not doing it on any of these. Missing one end if. So there's something I haven't learned here about assembler files. Let's see where it's asking for. 147 is the first instance. So do I just need to put it at the end of this? Let's give it a try. Because this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier with animation in the removers library. You add these macros, so you tell it there's an animation chunk. This is the graphics data that we're looking at. So one of these that we load in. This is the frame for that animation, and this is how long that frame lasts in the animation. And it's looking for apparently an end if. So 147, and maybe this is. There were some visual glitches I was seeing at one point. Let's see if we've gotten rid of that first one. So this 147 shouldn't be here anymore when we run a make command. Mismatched end if. I am not sure what it's asking for. Let's do a quick search. I'm just going to copy this. I don't know if this is going to give us anything on a Google search, because it may be specific to the linker or something. I'm just going to do that, see if anything comes up. For a single line if statement with multiple. The other thing is it's assembler, and there's a lot less assembler stuff on the internet. If and if. Do I just not need the period before the line starts? Like that. Mismatched end if. Whoops. Save. Nope. My highlighting seems to recognize it. I'm not familiar with assembler macros, or assembler in general, enough to know if this syntax is correct. Apparently it isn't. And these are just warnings, and so I'm not too terribly worried about this. But I was hoping it would be a quick fix. Let's jump back over to the browser really quick and see if they're... why is end if missing at the end of an else if statement? And so I'm familiar in header files that you add this end if. I'm pretty sure we have those in ours. Let's just check one really quick. Yeah, so we have like this down here. But this is C code syntax, and I don't think that's what it's looking for here. I mean, we could try it. I just don't think it's going to... Yeah, it's expecting assembler syntax, which this period is... I know that is assembler syntax. I don't know if it's appropriate for this specific situation. Missing end if... Let's try this. Assembly code end if. Put that in quotes to make sure we get that The thing is we don't have an if-else statement, so I don't know directives. So that's what they're called. Yeah, it's part of an if-else statement. So I'm wondering if they're in the background somewhere, somewhere opaque in the removers library. It's running an if-else statement, and I'm just not aware of it. See, my mind is this was just creating a data segment for assembler. Missing one dot end if. Yeah. And another strange thing about this is it's not giving us a warning here in our sound data macro. And so I'm just wondering if there's a small syntax error somewhere in this file. Animation end. Or I'm just missing something. The way I'm setting up these animations, I'm not doing it quite right to what the assembler or what the removers library is expecting. Yeah, we do not need a tab there. Yeah, not sure. I don't think I need anything at the end of the lines. Clear color, and then a make clean, make. There we go. Yeah, that didn't do anything. I know sometimes tabs make a difference in assembler as well. Let's take a quick, just look at this little difference between a .if and if in assembly. Oh, this might be interesting. If else without the dot are compile time directives. The assembler will test the conditions and based on the results will only include one of the sequence of statements in the resulting program. So it's used to basically tell it to use certain blocks of code if you meet certain conditions at compile time. It's not runtime. They serve the same purpose as the C preprocessor directives if and else if. Oh yeah, and we're doing that in our. Oh, that's cool. That makes sense. This is the first time I've actually read about this, and that's why we have those in there. Oh, that actually opens up some possibilities for code for testing certain parts of your code when you're dealing with a big program. With the dot are execution time directives. The assembler will generate comparison and jumping instructions. They serve the same purpose as C statements in the form of if and else. So they're actual if and else statements. So I'm not sure why we need that for what we're doing in our assembler files here, why it's asking for that. And that's why I'm thinking that there's probably just something, a little syntax error that's makes it think that it wants to have that end if statement. So there's a syntax error somewhere that's causing that. But I don't think it's breaking our program, so let's move on. We don't need to worry about that. Okay, let's go back to our main function and see what else we can update here. I know I said I was going to do that scroller, and we will. I'm just taking some time to see if there's some other things that we might be able to do. Kind of want to get rid of all these breaks. We really don't need them. It's going to reduce how many lines we have considerably too by getting rid of those breaks. Okay, here's some flags. Retro flag, Portland flag, and this looks like, yeah, intro card variables. There's our main pen position. We're starting at 1280 and scrolling across. End card variables. Yeah, I'm just defining all my variables for the whole demo here, which is definitely kind of a noob thing, but that's okay. We're going to keep those the same. It is functional. Yeah, we kind of need to rebuild the entire intro sequence. Because we're going from moving sprites to moving display layers instead of the sprites. So what I want to do is get rid of some of these line breaks. Keep getting distracted by them. Yeah, I kind of want to. Okay, we have those all come in. Welcomes you to. We have the background one. Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Kind of want to shift some of the sprites around as well. Stack them a little bit different visually. My tastes have changed over time. Space counter. What is that? What is that variable for? I'm glad I left lots of comments. The number we compare with the total amount of space we want to fill on the screen. It has something to do with the transition, so I'm not entirely sure what that's for. We won't worry about the transition too much right now. Time. Cycles per second, CPU. So pass our clock variables into our clock function to update how many seconds have passed. So I'm tracking seconds at some point. This is probably how I was timing things. So like the transitions to make sure it lined up with the song correctly. So I'm not going to mess with that. This is moving our background. Movement control, this is moving all of our sprites. Attach sprite, detach sprites if they're viewable or not. I mean, we could keep this. We need to check. What I kind of want to do, because right now we're moving all the sprites. What we should be doing is just tracking where that main pan position variable is at, and then when it reaches a certain point, we attach and then start moving the display layer that we want to move. Something we need to do before we do that, though, we can kind of do this. We can do a hybrid model of this because the way I have it coded is we can make the changes to one sprite at a time without affecting the rest of the intro, and that way we can test things as we go along. Get rid of all these line breaks. We don't need these. We're going to get rid of a few hundred lines in this file just by getting rid of some line breaks. So let's do, I don't know what this BitJag grid is. Let's do the cat head first. So it is relative to pixel 800 of the main pan position. And we can do that. Let's see here. Can we do that? We're probably going to be adding some if statements here. So we're starting at 1280, correct? Main pan position. So we're starting at 1280. So it's way out here, and it's minus, so it's another 800 pixels. So it's at 2080 pixels to the right. And we technically don't need to do that. What we need to do is well, let's do this first. We need to add the cat head to a display layer. We need to define where we're putting everything. That's what we need to do. And so let's do that here. We have our welcome title, your YouTube title, which need to be on separate layers because I believe they're moving at different Yeah, that's kind of what I need to see. So let's reset the demo here so I can see this again. In fact, I could probably have it just loop the intro. I'm going to keep the little squares as sprites. So we have BitJag. Okay, so the head and welcomes are on the same layer. And it looks like, okay. So I'm just going to start defining these right now. So one, oh, that is something we need to consider. We're going to have blocks in front of everything and behind everything. So I'm going to actually put this on display layer 3, the welcome, the where is the Jaguar head? Cat head is going to be on layer 3 as well. Let me reset this again. We could just use the emulator for what we're doing right now. Yeah, so the head welcomes, and I think the arcade and the Portland Retro Gaming Expo are all on that same parallax layer as well. Oh, the other thing we need to take in consideration is that the rainbow in the background, we need to, we have 4 of those. And we need at least 2, let's see here. That will get all the way over. We need 3 display layers for that, to scroll that. And that's going to be in the very back, but we have our blocks as well. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to define this up here. So I'm going to define our layers. Let's do a block comment, like that. So 0, yeah, let's just do that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's our 16 display layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we can just go through our sprites and assign them to these layers. So I'm going to leave the very back layer for our back blocks. Those are the blocks that are scrolling on the screen past really quickly. They're kind of an ambient effect. They aren't required. They aren't the highlight of what we're showing. And then for these 3 layers, this will be rainbow for all those, because they are the next thing. Actually, no. I'm going to leave I want the rainbow blocks in the very back. And then the floating blocks, this is 3, 2, 1, 0, like that. Okay, I'm going to call these floating blocks. Floating blocks, like that. Okay, there's our floating blocks, and those will just all be on that layer. And then, in fact, we're just going to run the emulator for this. Virtual Jaguar, and this is called, what's it called? BJ Demo 1, COF. So we have the BitJag name, which will be on a higher layer, and then we'll do the cat head and welcome on one layer. So cat, is that what it's called? Yeah, cat head, cat underscore head, and the welcomes, I don't know why I put an S at the end of that, the welcomes title. That will be on one layer, one display layer. In fact, I'm just going to go down through my layers until I run out of layers. We can do that. Do I want to do that? So the thing we have to be careful with the display layers, that they're only, well, they're a little bit wider than 320 pixels. I'm just not sure exactly what that is, but we'll just assume that we only have 320 pixels to work with, because that is a display layer, not an individual sprite. And so whatever if we're putting multiple sprites on that display layer, we just have to make sure we can fit them all on that layer. Let's see here. Then we have our arcade machine, the screen, and then all the text items on the right side. Those can all be on their own layer as well. In fact, let's just put that on the next layer. So this is arc screen. Then where is our cabinet? Oh, it's just called arcade. And then our Portland GFX, Retro Gaming GFX, and date 2014. I think that's all those. Welcomes you to Portland Retro Gaming Expo date. Yeah, and then all of our rainbow stuff will be on those layers. Okay. Rainbow 2. There's all of our bricks. Yeah, not worried about those. Arc screen. I'm just seeing if there's anything. Okay, BitJag. Yeah, the BitJag grid needs to be on its own display layer. So BitJag grid. Okay, I think that's everything except for we will need another display layer for the floating blocks, for the ones that are flying ahead of everything. You know, if I wanted to, I should probably do 3 layers, to tell you the truth. Let's take a look here. Oh, you guys can't see this, sorry. Let me pull it up. I don't know why it isn't showing up. Usually is. Retro Arc, yeah, Virtual Jaguar. Let's see if I can get that to show up. There it is. So if we play this back, got some in front, got some behind. You know, we're just dealing with 2 layers for the floating blocks. I'm fine with that. Okay, let me close that. Floating blocks. So yeah, we'll do that here. So we're not even using, well, we're using about half of our layers. We're using exactly half of our layers, which is awesome. Let's see if and we're actually running out of time. It's 7:30 already, so I have 30 more minutes. Let's see if we can get the rainbow moving correctly. Okay, so we have 3 display layers, 0, 1, and 2. Let's add our rainbow sprites to those. And this is actually going to be a little bit difficult because, actually, no, it's not. What we're going to do is we're actually going to give it one more layer. Like that. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That. So we have one more layer for our rainbows because we have 4 rainbow sprites. And so we're going to give those all their own layer. So we don't have to worry about those. And I just realized we're going to have to pull over a function from, well, we don't technically have to pull that function. Oh, yes, I do, because it's a little tricky to actually move the display layers in the removers library. So let me go open up some source files for our other project where we're doing the scrolling stuff. I just got to remember where that is. I think it's under common assets in the 240p test suite. Fade background. Let me pull up the header file. Rolling fade, update lines, hide or show display layer range. We'll need that function. Reset position of display layer range. So this is, yeah, we need both these functions. So let me pull these over. I kind of want to do another. Oh, I have a header file here called screen tools. We'll just drop it in there. Both of those functions. Reset position and hide and display. We'll just pull those over. Like that. Looks like there's a couple functions I never made at some point. I never did anything with. In fact, let's just get rid of those while we're here looking at it. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Okay, so this reset position. Oh no, this just resets them back to, let's see here first. Those are just some checks. Then you go first from last, and yeah, so we have this move oh, I have another function called move display layer. Let's see if that is in here. I'm not. Oh no, this may be an actual function in the removers library. So this is the function that we need to move the display layer. Okay. And this sets the position. It's an absolute position. It doesn't change it relative to where it was previously. And so we have to keep track of we have to make variables for those display layers and their positions. And we can just do an array for that. That's not going to be too difficult. I'm just thinking through how I may want to do that for this particular scenario. Let's do this first. Let's get our rainbow sprites all in to our program here. This is actually going to make our program past 1 megabyte, I'm pretty sure, if they aren't already loaded in. So let's look for rainbow. Yeah, so I only have 2 of them pulled in so far. Let me find out. Source intro. I just want to check the naming convention here really quick. Yeah, so we're fine just pulling those in right here. Bring in 3 and 4 and make sure we name those correctly. Rainbow 3 and 4 data. And then in our header, we need to declare those. Or, yeah, declare. That's the right word. Here and here. 3 and 4. And our extra. Oh, where are our external declarations? They're up here. We can pull all these in as well to our header file. All of this. This isn't formatted how I usually do it nowadays, but it's fine. It's as long as I understand what past will did, we'll be fine. So we just need to find those rainbow. Hey, I am pulling in all the data for that. Oh, this got me concerned now. It looks like I was pulling that in somewhere at some point. No, it's only 2 instances in the header file, and I guess it wouldn't complain about that, because even if I wasn't setting up the macro here, it wouldn't say that it wasn't being set up before, because I didn't have these 2 lines in here before. It wasn't complaining about that, and so well, it's good to know that it doesn't complain about that. Oh, we need to grab our music as well. Just drop that down here at the bottom. Okay, so we have all those. We just need to bring them in now. We'll see. Rainbow. There it is. And let's see here. Do we want to make these invisible right now? Technically, we don't have to. We do want to attach them, that's fine. So let's bunch these up again. Like that. Separate these out. Y position, rainbow 1 Y position. What is the Y position? So this is our width, our height, our X, and there's our position. Don't know if the sprites were designed relative to each. It looks like they were, so we may be fine. Yeah. So we can use the same Y position for everything. Yeah, so we can just copy and paste this. Let's do that. Do it 2 more times, and this is rainbow 3, 3. This is 4, 4. This is 3 and 3, like that. Because they're all 224 by 96 pixels. Yep. So we're fine on that. Yeah, and those are all going to attach now. 2 of them won't move right now. They're all set at the same Y. We actually, because we're doing display layers now, we want to set the X positions all to 0. Because we're not moving the sprites now, we're moving the display layers that the sprites are attached to. So they'll all be set to 0, and then we'll shift the display layers over to their given positions. In fact, what we'll do right now is we'll set our display layer positions. I just gotta find, yeah, here's the function. I'm just gonna do it right here for all 4 of our layers. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3 are our positions. We're not going to mess with the Y, it's just going to be our X, and what we're going to do is we're going to set them all to 3. Our visible screen's 320 pixels plus a little bit more. I like to push it off to just 8 pixels, so 328 on the X for all those layers. So those are all going to be pushed off to the side now. We do need to make sure these are attaching to the right display layers, which they are not right now, and now they are, which is important. So we're good there. And we moved the display layers. And now when we move them, we need to change how we're moving them. So right now, this is our movement control. Our rainbows are being moved down here. So I'm just going to comment this out for now. We're going to be leaving our rainbow delay because that's actually causing the parallax effect on the intro. But that's tracking the parallax effect, so it only shifts things when that happens. So what we need to do, we need to do a if check on our main pan position, and we move the layer, any given layer. So we need 4 if statements for each layer. If main pan position is, we're minusing it for the scroll when we're scrolling everything over. So when it's less a certain position, this will be different for each display layer. In fact, it's just going to be 224 pixels, because that's the width of each of our rainbow sprites. So we'll move the first one, and then 224, 224, 224. And we need to tell it to not move it when main pan position is greater. It only moves it when it's greater than 0. So we're going to wrap all 3 of these in another if statement that just says main pan position is greater than 0. Yep. Like that. Tab this in, and yeah, this is going to work, I think. So if it's less than 1280, this will be for our first display layer. So move display layer on display D, layer 0, and we need a way of tracking all these positions. So because we can't just do a minus. So we need an array that we can work with here. I'm just going to do it end card variables. Yeah, the way I organize this is a little bit silly. That's okay. It works. Just got to find where we're putting our variables specifically for the intro card. I'm not seeing, there's our bricks, but those are being used in multiple locations. Flags, arcade flags, so we're kind of doing it here. Intro card, there it is. Okay, so what we're going to do is display, actually this is technically a universal one, because we'll probably be using this in other, will we be using this? No, we won't be using this for anywhere else. Display layer X positions, because we're not worried about the Y's. And this is 16. We're just tracking 16 values for each layer, X values. And I'm just going to set these all to 0 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like that. Got that. And we're going to change things a little bit here. Right here. So instead of putting 328 here, what we're going to do, in fact, we're going to just write another function, which, no. What we're going to do to show you how I'm going to be moving this is we have to update that array first, and then we run this move display layer function. So what is it called? What's the name of our new variable? Display layer X position. Display layer X position 0 equals 328. So we set the value that we want that display layer's X position to be at in this array first, and then we run the move display layer. And the reason why we do that is we can run a we can loop a change on that variable where we can't do that because we're not actually tracking the position. The position for the display layer is being tracked somewhere in that function, but it seemed like I spent some time trying to figure out how to do that, how to read and change that value directly, and I was having trouble doing that, and so I just do it this way instead. It's not, we have plenty of RAM and everything, and so I'm not too worried about doing it this way. And we just need to do that for our 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 3, and then we actually move it like that for all 4 of those layers. And you'll see what I'm getting at here in just a second. So we have those changed. So here, now now that we're tracking that value, we know where that display layer is now, and we can check that position too. So once it goes off screen, we can stop moving it. So if in fact, let's do that right now. Main pan position is less than 1280, and display layer X position is greater than, and so it's 224 pixels. The sprite is 224 pixels, right? So we can stop moving that layer after it's gone to negative 224, which is on the left side of the screen. So as long as it's greater than negative, let's do an extra 8 pixels. So 232, negative 232, right? Yeah, that's right. I can add and subtract. I swear, I can do that. And oh, we need to make sure we're picking the right one, the right layer. Is greater than, and this will be the same for all of these if statements because they're all 200. They're 224, right? Second guessing myself. Yeah, they're 224 pixels wide. So yeah, and that's going to repeat. This value is going to change for each layer, and what we do is we update display layer position, X position. We're just going to minus by one pixel. Yes, just making sure. Layer 0, and then we update its position with that here. Set it 0 there. On the Y, we're not updating the Y at all. We're leaving that where it is, and that one's done. Yes. I'm just checking to make sure that this is the most efficient way of doing these if statements. I think we're fine. And we do that 3 more times for the other layers. So let's go make sure all of our numbers are updated. 3, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, those should all be updated. Now we just need to make sure that these other layers only start moving at certain points. So we need to do 1280 minus 224, which is 1056. And then 1056 minus 224, which is 832. 32. And then 832 minus 224, 608. 608. We technically don't need this for the last 2, this check here, because those will be on the screen at the end of the scroll. Once it stops scrolling, they'll just be sitting there. So, and that's what this if check is for, is once the panning stops. So once it goes below 0, it will stop running these if statements. So our rainbow will stop moving as well. Which we may be changing where this is being done, where this is wrapping, because we may be using this for other sprites as well. In fact, for all the sprites. Yeah, this should actually work the way it's sitting now. In fact, let's get rid of these last 2. The checks on these, because we technically don't need those. I don't think. We'll find out. Let's go ahead. Let's do a make clear, make clean, make BJ. Okay, there's something it doesn't like. Just a syntax error. 1075. It probably just forgot a semicolon. Oh, no, that's right. Right there. And A, undeclared at 395. Go 395. Accidentally typed an A where there shouldn't have been one. There we go. Our rainbow is not showing up at all. Okay. Oh, they are invisible right now, actually, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, yeah, they're all invisible, so let's get rid of those lines. We don't need those. I don't think. We may optimize when these things are actually attached to the screen and everything, too, because that will affect speed, having them all stacked up like that. Okay, we're still not seeing anything. Let's try, let's try something here really quick. Let's see, make sure that they're actually attaching to the screen. This is wrong. 2, 3, this isn't going to affect whether they show up or not, but I am accessing the wrong data. Everything's saved there. We're on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That actually should have been crashing. No, that wouldn't have been crashing anything. Always need to triple check this stuff. And then I'm going to set these all. I'm actually going to tell it to not move anything. Or, yeah, initially we should. Yeah, okay, everything's there now. That's good. D. So there's something wrong with my if statement here. So delay. Let's make sure our delay is being ran down. It is being ran down, which is good. Oh, we need to set this again. The rainbow delay right there. That will help. That was probably why it wasn't moving. There we go. Okay, so let's see if these line up. Something's not working correctly there. Keeps hopping back. Why is it doing that? It's a little weird. Oh, now we're going further. It's interesting. Excuse me. Is just shifting the first one for some reason. And then it was bouncing it back, which doesn't make much sense to me. Is greater than 232. Huh. We are moving the correct layer. Yep. Greater than 2. Okay, main position is less than 1280. So it's automatically going to be moving that first layer. That's correct. And then, as long as display layer X position is greater than negative 232, it's going to continue moving that to the left. And we're updating that position here. Yeah, that should be working. Here, let's just make sure we're getting that first one to go across the screen. It should be going across the screen without too much of a problem. Oh. Also, I just realized something else. We're not even going to be seeing the last one, I don't think. Why isn't it working? Where's our error? I don't see an error. That a cast error. So I screwed up my. No, that's fine. What's going on? Oh, I accidentally commented out a bracket. There we go. Okay, main position, pan position is still okay. It's working now. Why wasn't it working before? I must have been missing one. Yeah, that's fine. 2. That's fine. And 3. Why would that be having an issue? Why is it popping back like that? Okay, rainbow 1 is attached to display layer 0, 2 is to 1, 3 is to 2, and 4 is to 3. That's correct. So I don't have, I'm not affecting a layer that I shouldn't be. Oh, duh. Okay, so I wasn't moving the right layers. There we go. 2, 3. There we go. Got it. This should work. I don't know if the sprites will be lined up correctly, but they all should be moving to the left now. Yeah, it looks like they're lined up as well. I don't know what's going on with this sprite here. You know what I kind of want to do is actually just have it, the rainbow keep scrolling. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Because we're sitting on the arcade for a while, so there may be enough extra ribbon on the right side for it to just keep going. And that way the background still kind of changes a little bit as it's scrolling. And our blocks are still going to the left as well, and so it's kind of, that movement's kind of justified already. Why did it stop? Rainbow delay. Ah, so it's only, let's just break it out. Rainbow delay. It's greater than 0. Get rid of it there. Yep, like that. Don't know why I don't have tabs in those if statements. It's a little weird. Okay, got those. This will make it so the rainbow continuously goes to the left now. And we may rearrange how things are assembled on screen here, just to make sure that the Portland Retro Gaming Expo text is readable. I feel like one of our sprites, main pan position. Oh, it's going to stop anyways. They're stacking on top of each other still, which doesn't make sense to me because, oh, that's why. Because we're shifting the sprite only every 3 frames, but this is counting down every frame, and so this doesn't work for us. So what we can do is, instead of tracking this main pan position, we can track the position of the previous display layer. So we can get rid of this because that will just start. And then here we check the position of the first one, in this case 0, and as long as it's less than, we were 328 minus 224, so 104. 104, 104, and we do that the same, and then we can just duplicate this down to here. But now we're checking the previous one, and here, and we're checking the previous one. So what it's doing is that first display layer is going across, right? And once it hits pixel 104, we can start shifting the second display layer, and then it does that with the third, and then the fourth. And I'm going to add these checks back in because now it's going to just continue scrolling regardless of everything else, and just make sure that it stops scrolling. We don't want it to go too far off into the line buffer because that can actually slow down the music. I relearned that recently when modifying the oddball code, my Pong clone in Crescent Memories. I have these clouds scrolling down at the bottom, and I'm basically doing the same thing there as what we're doing here. And if those clouds go too far off, it actually starts screwing with the audio. It starts making it sound crackly, and it just doesn't sound very good. And so what you do is you don't let it go too far off into no man's land. You stop it from scrolling, or you detach it, or you wrap it back around so it can scroll again. In the case of the clouds, it's an infinite scroll, and so that cloud gets so far off to the left, it comes back over and just starts scrolling again. So, okay, this should work if I didn't have a syntax error somewhere. 384, right there. See what this looks like. They shouldn't be stacking on top of one another anymore. Which is good. I think we finished this just in time. So we're a little off. It looks like we're 8 pixels off. And you know what? I think we're only going to need 3 of those. And it looks like, I'm not detaching appropriately in our palette change. That's why graphics look a little weird there. Kind of look cool. What we're going to do is we're only going to do 3 sprites, and we are going to stop this. We can actually just add it up here. And main pan position is greater than 0. This will stop it once the arcade stops moving. Yeah, let's check that one more time. This may be it. We'll call it a stream after this. This works out. Oh, we are off by 8 pixels, aren't we? We needed to start a little bit earlier, so that's fine. We can change that here again, take another look. Oh, it's looking fine now, isn't it? We may be good to go. Okay, I think we got it. Yeah, I don't think we need to change this. It looked fine. It's possible that the space between the first and the second one is actually being covered up by the arcade machine. So that's fine if it is. But yeah, it was that exciting, wasn't it? Woo! No, that was fun. It's interesting going back and seeing how I did stuff, 8 years ago. It's been a while. 8 years ago. I've learned a lot. I definitely do things quite a bit differently now. Oh, there is one thing we need to do. before we finish, we need to properly detach the sprite when we're done. But yeah, that came together with very little problems, which is always good. I hate it when I get. It's the one thing I don't like about coding is you'll in this, and I imagine as you get better, as you get more experience, and you run into this problem more often, it happens less often. Is you'll do a bunch of code, and there will be a crash. And this probably never goes away. Now that I'm thinking about it, you'll get a crash, and you will spend days trying to figure it out, and you'll find out that there was just a little typo somewhere, or something just really basic that you do know, you just don't do it often enough to remember, and you'll waste so much time on it. and realize it was something simple, and I always worry about that when doing these programming streams, that it'll be just something really stupid simple, and I'll just be stuck on it, and so I'm not talking or anything because I'm just working on this stupid problem that was easy, that is relatively an easy problem. I just wasn't spotting it for whatever reason. So just cleaning up some of this spacing and tabulation. I know that probably wasn't the right way to use that word. So this code here, just as things go off to the left side of the screen, they detach from the display. And we're actually going to be changing this tomorrow, how this all works. Because it's actually probably causing some jumps. So it isn't in the scroll when it's doing this. There's plenty of memory for attaching all this stuff to this display right at the beginnings and then detaching at the end. And so I'm not worried about attaching this in the middle of that scroll. So yeah, we're definitely going to be changing how this is done. And it will actually get rid of some lines of code, because I don't think we need to track these flags anymore once we do that. So we'll be getting rid of all that, like 30 lines of code with that, which will be nice. Anyways, there's a few more here. And it will simplify our code too. We'll have we're going to be getting rid of all these if statements. These if statements will be replaced with, when we put these on display layers and we're tracking the positions there. Yeah. So finish this up. I'm making my way down to where we detach some things. And we'll do that here really quick before we call it a stream. Yeah, this is terrible. What I'm doing here, actually, because I'm doing it for all those little bricks that are flying across the screen, and those are attaching and detaching all the time, and that will cause little jumps in the movement. So yeah, it's good that we're going to be changing all this. Oh man, what was I thinking with all these line breaks? Unnecessary. Is perfectly readable without them. We're getting there. Maybe I'll just... No, we're getting there. We're getting there. Destroying all these line breaks. I should have checked how many lines of code there was before I started doing this, so you could see how much I'm reducing the code, because pretty much the whole program is in this one file, and so we can... I can look at old versions and we can do that comparison. Just got to remember to do it once we're done tinkering with this program. What I don't understand is why I didn't add tabs inside these if statements. My brother probably looked at this code back when we were working on it initially, and he's like, what is he doing? He was too nice to say, hey, add some tabs there. It really makes things more readable. Okay, We got to the bottom of that section. Okay, this is where we're detaching everything. Oh, interesting. Okay, rainbow. We're only doing 3 of those rainbow sprites now. So we can remove the 4th one, which is right here. Get rid of that. And that technically removes, we're not using display layer 3 anymore, but that's okay. I'm just going to put a not used message here so I don't forget that in the future. And I'm going to remove it from here so we're not loading it into our final binary, which will save us some space. Get rid of it here and here. There we go. Okay. And make sure everything still builds. Yep. Okay, we should be good. And we will follow up on this. I was just going to check this really quick to see that we didn't create any new warnings. We're going to be clearing some of these warnings up tomorrow, maybe. So, anyways, but yeah, that's it. Show you a little bit more of that demo as we wrap things up. Actually, I am going to go to my big screen. It's kind of how I go in and I add chapters to the video afterwards, or sometime afterwards, after the stream is done. And so making sure I go back to this big camera view is important, so it allows me to find the end of my videos a little bit quicker. Anyways, yeah, catch you tomorrow, Matt. Thanks for joining me. Anybody else who was on stream, thanks for watching. I hope it was interesting. If you want me to talk about some specific coding things, let me know. I can't guarantee that I actually know what I'm talking about, but it'll help me learn as well. But sometimes it's nice for other people to go, hey, what did you actually do there? and then forcing me to explain it helps me not only learn it, well, it helps me learn it and understand it better. It makes me think through what I'm doing. So sometimes you pick up things, you just start doing things because that's just how you saw how it was done in another program that somebody else did, but you don't know exactly why they do it that way. And so yeah, so if there's anything you want me to explain, let me know. I can do that. Yeah. But anyways, I just don't think there's much else to say. Again, thanks for joining me. We'll be working on this again tomorrow. What we're going to be doing tomorrow primarily is just going through the rest of the sprites in that intro and adding them to the display and moving them like we did with the rainbow. And that should go pretty quick now that I have the variable set up for that, and I've refresh myself on how I do that. It should go pretty quick. We may even get to the second part with the scroller section, see if there's anything we need to optimize here. We'll be changing the text in the scroller, which will be really quick. There may not be too much else we'll need to change in this scroller section. So we may get to this section, which I do want to optimize the code I'm using for the jump. Right now, I think I'm actually calculating mathematically that hop. I want to optimize that and just turn it into a lookup table for that movement, which shouldn't be too difficult to do. I've done that before for other things, for the other games, but it'll make the program run faster. So, because I won't be doing any multiplying and dividing to get that nice smooth bounce movement. So, but yeah, so we may get that far tomorrow. We'll see. There won't be a huge news segment, so yeah, we'll probably get at least to this scene tomorrow. So anyways, again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.